It is said that music can influence your mood. Well, a lot of people are saying this. Many are believing it. But the question is, what is it that is actually influencing us? The point is, many people listen to music and they simply get carried away. The question is, does music influence them or they allow themselves to be influenced by something? Well, in a way, it is kind of the same thing. Because, see, as a human being, if you allow yourself to be influenced by inanimate things, objects, and manifestations, the point is you are proving weaker than those things. See, music, if it is recorded, well, it's always gonna be the same because it's a recording. It's never ever gonna change. So it acts more or less like any other object around. It's gonna be that no matter what. Obviously, time will, well, show an imprint on it and, well, it will change. It already suffers changes as we speak. Everything around us has its own reverberation. And, well, everything has what I call physical changes, right? Atoms have been proven by science to go back and forth from existence into inexistence, and then they come back. And as they do, you don't know whether they are truly the same atom or not. Because if indeed they are, or if they are not, the object still doesn't change. So the universe has indeed a phenomenal intelligence, one can say, that something like this can happen to pendulate in between existence and inexistence and come back, well, almost, if not the same as it was before. And this happens quite very often, per second, or, well, I'm not sure exactly. I didn't understand everything in that article, but okay. So music is what many may call the closest link towards the divine. Now, when I say divine, I'm not speaking about God or any other human created um, concepts. See, the divine is what I call the creation, that set of events or single event or whatever it was that allowed this existence to manifest and unfold. Now I'm saying this because I don't like giving shapes and meaning to things. I can believe in something without giving it much meaning. People get entangled into meaning and then they become slaves of it. That's the problem and that's why the ignorance. Many people nowadays listen to music, irrespective of genre, mostly because of distracting themselves from day-to-day aspects. When they hear music, they don't get enticed by the music, they get enticed by the subconscious messaging. Because music is nothing else but vibration. Everything that is physical, obviously, will have a vibration of its own. There will be always those so-called wise guys and girls who will believe that no, that's wrong. But everything that is physical, it has a vibration of its own. Why? Because, well, everything that is physical is created out of atoms and molecules. And obviously science has shown that these move in what is called a Brownian movement. It has, or apparently to us, a chaotical movement. We don't know if it is perfectly coordinated or if it is fully chaotic, but the point is they are moving apparently chaotically and, well, randomly. All this movement creates a vibration, and obviously each object has its own vibration. And based on that, each of those vibrations can have an influence on us, right? Just like that, you as a being have a vibration of your own. And one can feel that the best, let's say when it comes to streamers. Why I say streamers? Because streamers always promote a certain, let's say, video game, right? If we go into the video game industry, let's say 1,000 streamers, they play the same game, right? If you look for any game that you want, especially if it is well known, well, there are obviously, let's say, at least 1,000 streamers playing it. League of Legends, Dead by Daylight, whatever MMO that you want nowadays, most likely there's 1,000 streamers at least. They all play the game, most likely they all have at least 1,000, probably even more viewers at any given time that they stream. The point is, those people, if they watch each of these 1,000 streamers, the point is they play the same freaking game. Those who subscribe and watch, they play most likely the same game. So they are not there for the game. They are there to see that person unfold their own aura, right? Their own vibration, let's say. And now, there are those people whom you simply don't know, but you definitely don't want to be around because you don't feel well. And there are those people who do like literally anything to stay around because most likely they make you feel well. So if people can make you feel different, even a house can. Because in that house there have been people who lived, most likely. And, well, if you have eerie sensations, especially women who are more in touch with such energies, well, most likely there are off energies because, well, wherever there's a human, there's bound to be some off energies, be it from their current situations, from their life, and the such. But most people, if they are ignorant, they are only living as a shadow because your memories also have an impact on you, right? How? Well, many people get pissed by something and then they overdo it, right? They overthink about it and they add more and more layers of pain. The event is long gone, but they still promote that pain and they live in that pain as if it's now perpetual. So, most people being ignorant, they just relive their past over and over and over again. Objects also have such influence because when you get attached to an object, you create meaning and you suffer because of that meaning, right? When you live too close to a certain object, your body gets a bit of its vibration. Now, if you are primitive enough to allow that object to simply influence your life, as it can happen, some people can touch a certain object and, well, let's say if it is cursed, aka someone placed a certain vibration upon that object, some people can simply no longer give up that object and they will stay with that object as close to them as possible because it has changed them in such a way that they feel or they literally cannot live without that. This is what I would call a lack of energetical boundaries. You see, if your physical body is influenced by that, right, by an inanimate object, you don't lose your shape, you don't lose your physicality, right? It's just that a different energy is also manifesting its influence upon you. Your body has an intelligence upon its own, right? Because we breathe, we live, each of our cells divide. There's billions of processes going on each second in our own body. And that happens without our own awareness, right? We've lived for thousands and thousands of years until we finally started realizing about internal things, right? About our body. And we never needed, in those thousands of years of unconscious evolution, we didn't need to focus on any of these internal processes, right? So as they unfold, well, the point is very simple. As they unfold, well, they have their own intelligence. So they function based on a certain karmic structure or whatever one may call it. A different object's influence or other people's influence can also spell some influence upon us, like mood swings and the such, or having dreams that you've never had before, because the body is fighting all those energies and, well, slowly removing them. The body has too much of an evolutionary memory for us to be simply changed by such things, but emotionally and psychologically, it can actually have a great influence and it can actually make people simply go haywire. Now, music can do the same thing. Because music is more than just vibration. Music is far more than that. It is a condensed vibration, which I call information. It's kind of the same thing, but information is far broader. Music nowadays, especially the modern one, well, the modern one seems to be made of a lot of computer-based loops. And loops are very dangerous to the brain because they can easily become addictive. And once someone becomes addictive, that becomes a drug activity. They're doing it repeatedly because it simply strips them away from something, right? It hides them from a certain pain, but basically just numbs them down so they no longer feel the pain. The pain is still there, and not doing anything towards it simply makes it worse. Just like any disease, not being treated early, well, it will always get worse and worse. Sooner or later. So the point about music is people kind of get looped by the information. They get hooked by the information within, right? Because if you take 10,000 children, let's say, and you put different music genres to them, they will naturally be guided towards something. Now, I don't want to use actually guided because many people will believe different things, but they will naturally tend towards something because there is a karmic structure within them which reverberates with certain, let's say, music genres. Our planet has its own voice and its own vibration. A forest has its own vibration as well as each of the trees, right? And trees also communicate through different signs because they can change the properties of their leaves. If animals come and they start eating at the leaves, and well, that plant knows that it is being attacked, it will make its leaves more and more acid. And that's why animals usually don't eat too much the leaves of the same plant, because it will react by doing that. And that plant also emits a chemical reaction that is perceived by other plants through, let's call it, a form of telepathy. And, well, it's not that, but let's have it understood by that. And that vibrational wavelengths that the plant emits, right? It's a communication system. The other plants also perceive that and they will also do that same thing. That is why usually herbivores eat some leaves in a certain area and then they move further away. Most likely they're not conscious of this, but they have realized it and, well, they have simply adapted. That is a way for plants to make sure that their leaves aren't all gonna be eaten so that they don't die. And in a way, it is a way to guide animals to simply eat, let's say, responsibly in a way. So music is literally everywhere. It's just that our ears don't perceive all the sounds, but imagine how chaotic our life could have been if we would be able to perceive all the sounds. Think that living in a crowded city already has a huge influence upon you. Even if you put earplugs, your body still is vulnerable to all those sounds, right? Even if you consciously don't hear them, sounds simply influence you. So the point is, sound has, well, any influence upon you, depending on what it was meant to do. Because a sound is literally a vibration, and a vibration is nothing else but information. It is like a software that you install temporarily in your body. This temporariness can be very long though, it can influence you for, a whole load of lifetimes. But it's all part of the karmic structure sooner or later, because, well, you'll get adapted to it, or, well, the next time you will have a different reaction. The body will react differently to it. So music is influencing people based on its information, based on what it was meant to transmit, not on the sound itself, right? At the same time, there is the emotional level, because people create a certain attachment emotionally and psychologically to music, and that also influences them. So it is a way through which people simply numb themselves down. Simply people give up a part of their awareness just to simply become one with music in an attempt to feel life and get touched by it. But usually electronic music won't allow you to achieve much of this because electronic music is mostly created to hook you and keep you ignorant through a lot of loops. I'm not saying electronic music is all bad, but usually, and especially music in this sick society, simply has a means to keep you numbed down, to keep you dumbed down. Because, after all, if you can think for yourself, you're kind of not following the script of this world, right? Let's not forget, a sick society's purpose is to keep people separated so that they can be easily ruled. People who can think for themselves, they will always attract people and agglutinate them, right? They will try to create groups of people who will actually use their capability to think for themselves, or they will help people realize that there is much more to life than their simple ignorance. All this being said, hopefully this video was introspective enough. You are appreciated. Take care. Ferenc Board signing out.